Venezuelan citizens go to the polls this Sunday to participate in a consultative referendum for the defense of the Guayana Essequibo. In Palestine, workers at the Nasser hospital in Khan Yunis struggle to keep up with the arrival of the injured and dead as Israel intensifies its attacks on the area. And on the fourth day of the COP28 summit, 74 countries and 40 organizations endorsed the Arab Emirates statements on climate, relief, recovery, and peace at the Global Climate Action Organization. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Luis Alberto Matos from teleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. Venezuelan citizens go to the polls this Sunday to participate in the consultative referendum for the defense of Guayana Essequibo. A total of 28,027 polling stations have been set up in the 23 states and the capital district, the 335 municipalities and 1,141 parishes. Early in the morning, President Nicolás Maduro emphasized that with the consultative referendum, the voice of Venezuela will be one to solve a territorial dispossession that has been going on for 150 years. The president made his statements at the end of his voting exercise at the Escuela Ecológica Nacional Bolivariana Simón Rodríguez, located in Caracas. Also, the president of the National Electoral Council, Elvis Amoroso, informed that as of 9 a.m. local time, 97% of the polling stations in the country are already installed for the day. The national coordinator of the Comando de Campaña Venezuela Toda, Jorge Rodríguez, and Executive Vice President Delcy Rodríguez urged the Venezuelan people to vote united as a family for the Essequibo Guayana. And as we have been covering throughout the day, the people of Venezuela carry out a historic consultative referendum in defense of the Essequibo. For more details, we have live our correspondent Gladys Quesada from Caracas. Hello, Gladys.
Hello, Luis. How are you?
Gladys, can you hear us?
Hello, Luis.
Hi, Gladys.
Yeah, I can hear
how's
you.
been the day developing?
Okay, so voting day is going normally, is going under total tranquility and also under calm and order. So far this afternoon here in Caracas, people is gathering to under the shade, and I think that running away from the sun also, but they are coming to vote, they are coming to exercise their right and their democratic duty also to cast their vote. So far, all the authorities of the National Electoral Council have been reporting about not only the turnout, but also about the discipline, the responsibility that people here in Venezuela is showing during their voting process and their voting day. Also, as you know, we had the tour of the international observers who are also accompanying the process and are assessing the expedite process and the effectivity of the voting protocol and other steps. Also, they are assessing that all the colleges and all the voting centers have the proper and the correct order of the voting tables. Also, as you can see, there are signals that show the voters where to go and cast their vote according to their cell identity card number, and those are the process. They come in here, they check their name in the list and the number of their ID card, and they go inside and cast their vote in the voting machines and in every voting table. So far, about over 50% of the 20 million people are already voted. They already voted today, and this is a joyful celebration of democracy. This is a day of people's will and of attendance. But now let's see some material that our staff, our team have prepared regarding the steps for the voting and how the voting has gone on midday. Let's see.
The electoral centers of Venezuela were installed at 6 in the morning, being the President of the Republic, Nicolás Maduro, the first to exercise his right to vote.
Today we await the voice of the people of Venezuela, the full exercise of sovereignty with a single flag, the tricolor and the 8 stars including the star of our Guyana.
The head of state recalled that Venezuela has one of the most reliable, fast and simple electoral systems to use worldwide.
It is a process with the Venezuelan electoral system. It is a safe, guaranteed, reliable, and also very simple, very easy process where our country is deciding a truly historic position. I don't know if there will be another country in the world that has consulted a subject of the importance that is being consulted in Venezuela and has delivered it in the hands of the men or women standing. I don't know a precedent of this.
After the process began, the principal rector of the National Electoral Council, Elvis Amoroso, formed the installation of almost 100% of the voting table and recalled that the consultative referendum seeks to solve the discussion on the Essequibo territory.
It is a consultative referendum on a situation we want to resolve ourselves Venezuelans, and so we will do today, as is our Guyana, and where all Venezuelans will participate to make the absolute decision on this issue.
At the same time, the President of the Parliament, Jorge Rodriguez, extended a call to the citizens to consolidate the historic claim of Venezuela on the territory of the Essequibo.
We want to insist to all our people, to the women and men of Venezuela, that today is a day for unity. Today is a day for the historic claim of Venezuela to defend its Guyana Essequibo. In the past, each time they attacked Venezuelan's territorial reality, we were in the circumstances that Venezuela was divided. Today we have to give a demonstration of unity, a demonstration of force, demonstration of courage and democratic expression.
And under an atmosphere of national unity, the leadership of the political opposition called the Venezuelan people to meet in the democratic consultation and express their support for their territorial demand.
To reaffirm that national project that unites us to all Venezuelans without distinction of political colors. Today is a day of democracy because it is a day when we are consulted. We fought hard and we have fought hard to be consulted on public matters. And today, of course, that we are being consulted would be a crackpot so to put yourself in an attack of anger and not come to vote. The things that unite us, Jose Gregorio Hernandez unite us, the Vino Tinto unite us, the Arepa unite us, and the defense of the territory unite us. The team is all Venezuela. It is Lame, it is Yaracuy, it is Aragua, it is Monagas, it is Lara, and it is all states because the territory is of the Venezuelans. This consultative referendum is not from the government, it is not from the opposition. It is not from the opposition and is not from the government. It belongs to all Venezuelans, and that's why one of the ways to exercise your defense is to vote. My call is to those who have not yet come to us, because it is always good to be aware that one did something for the defense of the territory.
The Venezuelan people advanced in the deposit of their vote in a coherent manner and with the national vision of ratifying their support for the sovereign defense of Guyana Essequibo.
So far, that were the development of the midday on the voting day on this Sunday on the referendum, consultative referendum on the Guyana Essequibo. I wanted to stress this is a joyful process. This is a democratic process, and the authorities have been emphatic and have been stressing the need for dialogue with Guyana and how only the dialogue with Guyana will solve the dispute, and that the government of Venezuela does not have a conflict, is not willing to confront the Guyana authorities, and they want to solve this in the diplomatic arena. And that has been the message all over this day and all over the week, and in everything that they have been saying in all the addresses to the people and to the press. So far, this is the ambience, this is the way the people celebrate. I was telling on the morning time, there was music and there was dances, and also dances from the Guyana Essequibo, the calypso dances in rhythm that is domestic or native from there. So far, this is the report. Luis, back to you.
for reporting for us from Venezuela on this historical day of the consultative referendum. Well, let's now take a short break, but remember you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English, where you will find news in different formats, news updates, and much more. Well, the story is coming up. Stay with us. Welcome back from the south. On Sunday, workers at the Nasser hospital in Khan Younis, Palestine, struggled to keep up with the arrival of the injured and dead. A large number of victims were brought to the facility as Israel extended its military operations to the south of the Gaza Strip. A lack of beds meant staff treated patients on the floor, which was streaked with blood and scattered with abandoned belongings. Bodies covered with blankets and sheets were laying next to those receiving medical attention. Heavy bombardments were reported overnight and into Sunday in the area of Khan Younis and the southern city of Rafah. Israel ordered more areas in and around Khan Younis, Gaza's second largest city, to evacuate. Parts of the north of the Strip also were the focus of Israel's blistering air and ground campaign. Israel continues its siege of the Palestinian people. Since October 7th, the displacement of citizens from Khan Younis to the city of Rafah in the southern Gaza Strip has increased even after the truce. Let's see the exclusive material with testimony of one of the displaced.
On October 7th, when the war started, the Jews sent us to evacuate and go to the south. We went to the south looking for safety. Being there, we saw that the area was not safe. We went to West Gaza. They told us that we have to live there. We went to Khan Younis. The situation is the same, and they told us to move to Rafah. What I want to tell you is that the suffering is bigger every day. It is our suffering, and I don't know in reality. It is something that was not foreseen, but we always thank God for everything. Our claim is to our national authorities. We claim to our brothers here who let people be killed, here drifting away, which should not happen. Here in Gaza there is no safe place. In the end, it is destiny. It is God who decides who dies and who continues to live. However, the Jews do not live a safe place here in the Gaza Strip, neither in Khan Younis, nor in Rafah, nor in Gaza. It is like this.
In the United States, a court ruled on Saturday that the Texas government must remove a 305-meter-long floating barrier it placed on the Rio Grande River to detect migrants from illegally crossing the border into Mexico. New Orleans-based Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, in a 2-1 decision, rejected a request by the Republican-ruled state of Texas to reverse a federal judge's decision ordering it to move the string of buoys placed on the Rio Grande in July near Eagle Pass. While in Mexico, the court's decision was welcome. Printed media, radio, and television placed the court decision among their major headlines this Sunday. They almost unanimously highlighted the failure of Texas Governor Greg Abbott's administration to plant buoys and bar wild at Eagle Pass access. In the ruling, the judge found that the state of Texas violated the laws governing waterways by placing the barriers along the U.S.-Mexico border. Spain imports liquefied natural gas from Russia, reaching a buyback this year, 2023. Local media report that Russia is the third supplier of hydrocarbons in the region, behind Algeria and the United States, with only 18.1% of the share of gas imported into the European country. The liquefied natural gas sent by Moscow by ship is not related to the oil tankers imposed on Russia after the Ukraine conflict. Spain is the main exporter of Russian liquefied natural gas among the countries of the European nation. In Switzerland, public television has just denounced a new scandal with national repercussions. The Abbey of St. Maurice, directly dependent on the Vatican, has been a place where repeated sexual abuse has taken place. The investigative program Mise au Point of Swiss Radio and television reported on November 19th that at least 9 priests of this center of Swiss Catholicism, located in the traditional canton of Valais, were involved in sexual abuse. RTS investigated for several weeks and, based on various testimonies, revealed new suspicions of abuse that also affect the heads of the institution, 2 of whom have directly been implicated. The cases, most of which occurred between 1995 and 2005, have been systematically ignored or covered up by the church hierarchy. The investigation states that 1,200 cases of sexual abuse in the country were committed by members of the Roman Catholic clergy, church employees, and members of religious communities. We have a second short break coming up, but before we invite you to join our WhatsApp community for our English-speaking audience, you can scan the QR code on screen to join directly and share the link to reach more people. Constant news coverage of Latin America and the Caribbean, as well as the rest of the world. Stay connected and informed with teleSUR. Final short break, don't go away.
This Sunday, December 3, Venezuela goes to the polls to defend its sovereignty in a consultative referendum for the Essequibo. Join us for our special coverage with a great journalistic display, live streaming, minute by minute, on our cross-platform. Special coverage.
Welcome back from the South. 74 countries and 40 organizations endorsed the Arab Emirates statements on climate relief, recovery, and peace at the Global Climate Action Organization Summit. On Sunday, as the 4th day of the COP28 conference, the main event of the Relief Day is framed by recovery and peace, which is designed to increase and enhance climate action on the resources of the countries most affected by conflict and humanitarian needs. 74 countries and 40 international organizations endorsed the declaration to ensure equitable access to climate action, in addition to pledging $150 million in funding to finance and address global water scarcity. And in the context of the COP28 summit, the coalition of social movements participating in the UN Climate Change Conference held the first demonstration inside the COP to denounce the war crimes committed by Israel against the Palestinian people. During the event, the names of the young people killed by Israel were remembered and the reaction of world leaders was demanded. The President of Cuba, Miguel Díaz-Canel Bermudez, arrived on Saturday night in Doha, Qatar. The President was welcomed according to the protocol by the first Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, Sultan bin Saad Al Muraiki. This is the second stop of the working and official visits made by the head of state to 3 Middle Eastern nations, which will be concluded in Iran after initially staying in the United Arab Emirates. On Emirati soil, Díaz-Canel also participated in the high-level session of the 28th edition of the Conference of the Parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, at the head of the Cuban delegation, which also hosts the pro tempore presidency of the Group of 77 and China. Cuba and Qatar established diplomatic relations on December 13, 1989. The East African Community Regional Force began its withdrawal from the Democratic Republic of the Congo on Sunday morning after Kinshasa deemed it ineffective and refused to renew its mandate. The regional bloc first deployed troops in the violence-plagued region in November last year after the resurgence of the M23 rebel group. The DRC authorities at the time invited the EAC to deploy its forces to free the areas taken by the rebels, but the future of the deployment was thrown into doubt after the DR Congo president Felix Tshisekedi accused the force of cohabiting with the rebels rather than forcing them to lay down arms. Following a summit on November 25th, the EAC announced that the DRC would not renew the mandate of the regional force beyond December 8, 2023. A first group of around 100 Kenyan soldiers from the regional force left from Goma airport bound for Nairobi, according to a spokesman for the force on the ground who did not provide more detail on further withdrawals. In Pakistan, at least 9 people were killed and 25 were injured after a terrorist attack on a bus in the city of Chilas. Local authorities reported that the incident occurred at 6:30 p.m. local time on Saturday and also noted that the bus was shot at then collided with a truck and caught fire. So far, 5 bodies have been identified. At first, it was reported that 8 people were dead, however, one of the injured died. Among the victims are the driver of the vehicle and 2 soldiers of the Pakistani army. In India, local authorities are preparing this Sunday for the imminent arrival of Mission hurricane expected to hit the country. The Meteorological Department indicated that the storm is currently following a west-northwest course at a speed of 13 kilometers per hour and is expected to increase its intensity as it moves across the Bengal Sea. In this regard, the Chief Secretaries of Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, and Odisha, and Finance Secretary Puducherry briefed the committee on the measures taken to protect the people and material resources. The authorities further warned the fishermen not to venture into the sea and arrange for adequate shelters, power supply, medicines, and emergency services. We have come to the end of this news brief, but before saying goodbye, we want to thank our Caribbean audience, especially the audience of Trinidad and Tobago. We are pleased to share our newscasts and contribute to provide an alternative news source of the latest world events. You can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. You can also join us on our social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For teleSUR English, I'm Luis Alberto Matos. Thank you for watching.
Sunday,